Are you
So
finished? Hold on. Let me just say this.
Marcus, go ahead. I'm
I want
sorry.
to make sure that we gave you all the time to say everything you need to say. That I gave you all the time. You good?
I want to go next.
Yeah, because y'all gonna make it. You're gonna make it about me again.
No, I'm gonna say this. So anybody don't know, Ali, that's my brother. He a really great guy, and he passionate about what he passionate about. And in the back, me and him had this conversation. How many hours you say we on this conversation now? This specific, similar conversation, Ali.
It's like 24/7.
Okay, so this 24/7 is it comes down to y'all just privy to this debate, and the debate is really about different beliefs in the way leadership styles work. So I'm of the belief that you have to meet people where they at and raise them up to your standard, and always maintain an even keel, because we can't engage. I can't engage with my children yelling back and forth with them. I can't engage with somebody I'm supposed to be leading yelling back and forth with them. And people be like, "Oh, you care about a man's tone." But guess what? Tone does matter. At the end of the day, like I use the example of saying "what's up." I can say "what's up" to somebody, like "what's up, Joe," and it's cool. I can also say "what's up," like "what you mean? What's up?" And it could be a problem. We as men can't pretend that tone is not a real thing, bro. That shit exists. It can escalate, de-escalate, huh?
Yeah.
But
Marcus,
you
y'all
took
doing
that from me.
but y'all doing it, Marcus. When my tone is down, and then I make an observation and I speak the truth, the women take what I say and they make it about what they wanted to make it about. They're not even addressing what I said. And then brother gets gaslighted. When men are talking to each other, we have to be extremely direct. But then when I come in and say certain things, we can rewind this. Everything that I'm saying, and we could do a review on it. Everything that I'm saying is changed to what they feel about it. It's not about what's actually happened. They're saying, "Hey, talk to us about what you're saying." I'm saying that collectively, brothers don't feel like they're supported by women. Well, you know what? Maybe we just need to stop. We don't even need to apologize. Maybe we just need it. Since we do that, maybe y'all don't appreciate it when we do that. Maybe we don't need to do it anymore. Why are they so quick to that instead of going, you know what, Ali? You know what? Maybe we need to address collectively what's going on in the community and how men don't feel supported by their women. You're right. Maybe we need to spend more time thinking about that instead of going just to react to what I'm saying and then projecting about how they may be feeling internally about men. When I say what I say, I don't even like saying I feel or I think. We see in the community that brothers don't feel supported by women because when they'll break their back for a woman will be just as quick as leave over her feelings, brother. That's and the main point about this is just the advocating for good men. We don't advocate for good men. We advocate for the ratchet men. We advocate for the men who aren't leaders, and women stand by those men. They don't stand by the leaders.
Okay. You
Go ahead, Marcus.
That thought? So this is part two of this conversation. Again, this is a long ongoing conversation. So y'all so just cut him some grace, anybody that's watching, and y'all don't understand because he on hour 300 of this conversation between me and him, right? So
Yeah.
the other
And
thing
then I want to go after that.
the other thing is, Ali, it's not that they not advocating for men or not, in my opinion, right? It is that we have, as men, like in general, as men, we have to set a standard for ourselves, right? And that standard is the standard in which everyone underneath us, or they're supposed to be following us, abides by. We can't fix the whole, and then, or we can't come into a conversation and try and fix the entire conversation as an individual while behaving how we won't expecting a conversation to be fixed. It has to start with the individual, and hopefully each individual fixes it, and then the conversation has the proper etiquette, tone, and correspondence. It's the same thing with the community. We can't fix the entire community at once. Each individual has to. This is why I only talk to men, because I think men are you never gonna hear me putting blame on women. Not because I'm what they call it a simp. It's because I don't view women and men the same way. Honestly, I hold men at a different standard than I hold women, bro. And because of that, I'm only talking to men, bro. That's all your fault. You need to get this in order. And women will fix things because of proximity to you and following you. If you expect society to fix itself and then it fix each individual thing, it's not going to work that way. It's never worked that way.
Family, you just did it, though.
All right, fellas,
I didn't
we
even
got to
say
get to these super chats. We got
Comprehension matters more than tone or delivery.
Can I speak on that just real fast before we read
Go
the next
ahead.
one? Okay, and this is kind of back to what Trigger Mike said. Men we're used to having a conversation without women, right? And in most countries, I'd say they have these conversations without women. However, if we're going to bring women into these conversations and into these spaces, we as men have to understand the way they receive information and how our tone can overpower and in some situations cause certain triggers in women. So we have to be mindful of what we say, how we say. I can deliver the same exact message to somebody and just kind of lower my tone. We're not like, we have to remember this isn't necessarily the barbershop when we invite women into our space. And I understand the chic critique is the female space, and most of the men here are invited in, but at the same time, we still, if we're going to come in, we have to understand that how we say what we say impacts how they hear what they hear.
I would
Just
say
something I wanted to touch on.
I would say from the context of us coming in their spaces, I agree. Ali just yell at everybody. I don't take it personal.
I know I rock with Ali for real.
Yeah, that's my
Like
brother.
I really
It's
do rock with Ali.
It's not yelling. I believe it's this
What?
thing.
You be yelling?
I'm not yelling, y'all. Y'all, I promise it's not yelling. Y'all, it's not yelling. It's
Solomon,
actually.
I don't know what word. Let me look up the synonyms for yelling.
I just should have mistaken. I'm going to try to be when I'm invited here. I'm going to be try to as best of my ability to make sure I'm remember the space I'm in where you guys want to keep a certain tonality on the show. But then even if it's the other way around, I just got to be mindful of what it is. I'm trying to have this conversation with y'all that's honest. But when I do say something and it's taken another way, that's the part that just like it's like, man, I didn't even say that, you know, like
yeah. And you know what make me mad is on Thursday when people call Ali angry, I'll be like, that's something that women do that's really weird. He's not angry. He's passionate. Like literally, this is what people that are passionate. If Marcus probably starts speaking about basketball, the little vein in his head gonna pop out because he's speaking passionately. I've never thought his tone was angry. But maybe
I agree, but I think what happens is I know a lot of times y'all say as women we move the goalposts, but I think what happens is you guys don't also understand when we see what the goalposts. So when I had made the comment about tone, that's all I was referring to when I brought up the example with Ricky and with Hank. That's all I spoke to is tone and the way women perceive that and receive it. I didn't say anything about them being less than men or not men at all. It had nothing because I respect both of them. So it has nothing to do with that. Actually, I used to listen to Ricky's show because he was dropping jewels. So it had nothing to do with what he was saying. I had to get accustomed to that's just the way that he speaks. But upon first introduction, as a woman, I don't know that. And I think that's part of what happened in the show on Sunday. Like if you don't know Hank, as a woman, it can be off-putting. That's all I was saying. But that doesn't speak to his character as a man. That doesn't speak to how he is in a relationship with his woman. It doesn't speak to anything about how he is as a father. It doesn't mean any of that. I wasn't referring to any of that. So I felt some kind of way when Ali, I felt some kind of way when you tried to say by me saying something or addressing the tone equated to me trying to say that I'm not letting them be men or you shouldn't be men. That no, that's not what I was saying. So that was I just needed clarification because it wasn't that. I was strictly speaking to that one aspect.
But you'll never. But the point is, you'll never hear never in these spaces women being coached on their tonality, and they'll be far worse than men. And Enos, I don't know why you Trigger Mike, AP, Marcus. Honestly, how often do you hear women coaching women on their tonality? Honestly.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard it.
And they be out of control. Just like she didn't get coached. Like she's not going to get coached on her tonality. Women will use that. It is weaponized against men. And the point is this. Men can come in spaces just in a relationship. And AP's went through it. I know Trigger has, Marcus has. And they'll go, babe, I want things to go this way for our family to run well. Okay. And we're talking about a certain woman. We ain't talking about men who have great relationships with women. And the woman will go, no, I can't do it that way. I say, okay, babe, since you can't do it that way, I'm leaving. Oh, you're leaving now? You're not a man? Oh, you can't handle me? Oh, I knew you was a BITC. That's your problem. You're not a man. No, babe, that's not it. This is what I was trying to tell you. No, that's not what you was trying to tell me. You was trying to tell me something else. And then the women proceed to start saying, and they start gaslighting the man, telling the man what he was saying or what he wasn't saying, and then the man gets passionate. No, babe, that's not what I was saying. No, y'all, I'm trying to make an example. No, but what I'm saying is that Miss Taken explained how she felt, Marcus. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is that when I'm communicating, and we can run this rewind, y'all can rewind this thing back. What I'm saying is they're not responding to what I'm saying to me. And so if I'm accepting how she feels, we have to teach men to be able to be open up and speak on when we feel like the women aren't understanding what we're saying. It shouldn't be disingenuous if we're telling the truth and we say, hey, I don't think you're hearing me correctly. It should be like, okay, what was it you said again? And then when the men are saying, hey, I didn't say that, then is the narrative being changed purposely to keep from really addressing what the men are saying? And I'm not saying that's what the women are doing all the time.
So it happens all the time, though.
Yeah, that you know what I'm saying, AP.
Yeah, so, it happens all the time, actually. But go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Were you done, AP?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Ali, I don't know any woman that would disagree with you on that point. And I will say this to that, right? And in full transparency, women don't correct that with other women when it comes to a good man, because her first thought is, I can treat that man better. Why would I correct my competition when I can just let her self-sabotage and let that man come crawling to me? That is how women typically function. Now, I will say this in terms of tonality when it comes to men. I think some men get so comfortable speaking to other men that they speak to women the way that they speak to men. And that's where tonality comes into play. And if we're going to say that tonality is not important, then we can't also reprimand women for their disrespectful tone. If tone doesn't actually matter, then it doesn't matter regardless of genitalia. And what they're saying should be taken equally. But the reality is, tone does matter when you're dealing with the opposite sex, because our communication styles are so significantly different that there needs to be another level of mindfulness in order for what we're communicating to come across clearly. Women need to be more respectful to men when they communicate, and men need to be softer when they communicate to women. And I'll use this as an example. Trigger Mike and I disagree at least once a panel that we're on together. And never once has he taken an abrasive tone with me, and never once have I taken a disrespectful tone with him. We can disrespect in a way that is mindful to the other person, where we feel heard. We don't have to agree. We don't have to understand each other. But at least the communication is clear enough that he understands what I'm saying, I understand what he's saying, and we can just agree to disagree if there's no meeting in the middle. And I think that is really what we're talking about when it comes to tone. And it's not tone policing. It's effective communication with your audience in mind. If you're talking to a woman, you want to convey that in a way that a woman will understand you and hear you. That doesn't mean agreeance. And same thing with women and men. Women need to not be talking all sorts of crazy the way that they do with their girlfriends to men, and not posture in a way that's going to elicit an inappropriate reaction. They need to handle a man in a way that a man deserves to be handled.
Because I'm gonna be honest, if I were in Hink's shoes, he is cooler and calmer than I am. Like, because I literally
he didn't call her a B. You're right.
Like, because I would have said, "Bitch, who are you talking to?" I would have literally said it, and then I would have overspoken her, because I know I can change my tone and go to next level.
All right, so this is why I disagree with both.